San Diego. I grew up with a father who taught me to love was to hurt. I was a child who had a dream of being a fashion designer. No child dreams of going to prison with a life sentence. Yet in 1996, I earned myself a 25 to life sentence at the age of 18. I was incarcerated from 1996 until 2017. I grew up in prison. I now work in East Mesa Juvenile Detention Facility. I am contracted with probation to bring in programs to our youth. I teach them victim impact, criminal addictive thinking. I use my experiences to teach them a different way of doing things. My first job after being incarcerated was with a nonprofit organization called the Training Center. My job was to help ex-lifer males transition back into society. I learned of Rise Up Industries through one gentleman in particular. I remember him telling me about it, Mr. Joe Tapia. He was so excited about the work he was doing that he got me to believe in it. So I started telling other guys who were re-entering that they needed to go and check out Rise Up Industries. I read about it, and I started believing about their mission. They were talking about how they wanted to minimize gang involvement by providing and integrating gang prevention, gang intervention, and post-detention reentry services. Rise Up was not only paying them to learn, but they were preparing them for careers and trades that were in high demand. So then, this opportunity arose for me. And I was asked to join Rise Up Industries on their board of directors. I jumped at the opportunity. Imagine, they wanted me, a convicted felon? What? Yeah, they wanted me on their board. Yeah, I was gonna take that opportunity. I wished when I was younger that this type of organization existed. Maybe if it did, our prison population wouldn't be what it is today. I would like to take a moment and welcome everyone to the start of an incredible evening. Together, we rise. Now I would like to welcome to the stage Eric and Bishop Bejarano. Eric is a reentry program member who will share a little about his experience at Rise Up, and Bishop Bejarano will grace us with a prayer for our evening. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to start off by thanking each and every one of you for your support and work that you do with Rise Up. The best way I can tell you what you do is how Rise Up affected my life. The best thing I can do to show you the work you do and the results that Rise Up receives from that is tell you a little bit about what they did for me. I discovered Rise Up through probation department. I didn't get out of prison, although I had been to prison. I moved to California in 2011, and my Ohio record caused me to be a second striker. So anytime I got in trouble here in California, my sentence was doubled. So I lived a life of hopelessness, from sober living to the street, to sober living to the street, to jail, to sober living to the street. And I was hopeless. Why not drink? I don't have a future. Nothing good will ever happen for me. But I decided to stop drinking. I was sober for a year when I discovered Rise Up. And they turned my life around. They gave me hope. They gave me support. They gave me life skills. And they gave me a job. Okay? So I want to thank the staff at Rise Up for supporting me, challenging me, and assisting me in turning my life around. And I want to thank all of you, each and every one of you, for your participation, your love, support, and your help. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Please remain in your places for the prayer. I'm going to be praying in my faith tradition. As we gather on this beautiful evening, I give you thanks, Almighty God, for allowing us to raise up our minds and hearts in prayer to you. I thank you for these 10 years of Raise Up Industries and the work that they do to help our brothers and sisters to effectively re-enter the life of the community and society. I know it has not been easy. I know they have faced many challenges, and at the same time, you have filled them with many blessings. So bless their efforts. Bless their leadership and staff. Bless their graduates. Bless those who are at this moment participating on the program. Empower us to find merciful and compassionate ways to help those who are marginalized or feel rejected by society. Inspire us to build a culture of restorative justice. May we recognize the value of every human life, their talents, and their contributions to the world. May your blessings be upon us this evening as we celebrate Big Night Out. Bless the sponsors of this event and everyone who in different ways support the mission of Raise Up Industries. As we gather for this meal, bless our friendships, bless our interactions, bless our conversations, and bless this food we are about to receive. And I ask this through Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen. Many blessings to everyone. Thank you. Enjoy your meal.
And now, for the third year in a row, we're pleased to welcome back our host for the evening, Mr. Michael Brunker. For 22 years, Michael was the executive director of the Jackie Robinson Family YMCA. In 2019, Michael was named Mr. San Diego for his tireless efforts to make San Diego County a better place to live, work, and play. He is currently serving as the 113th president of the San Diego Rotary Club, the 33rd oldest and the 10th largest Rotary Club in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Michael Brunker.
Well, welcome again to Rise Up Industries Big Night Out. We all know this is the 10th anniversary, right? Right? So we're going to have some fun tonight. Let's have some fun tonight. But let me ask you, who's here for the first time? If this is your first time, please rise up, stand up so we can acknowledge you. Yeah. Oh, my. Thank you. And what's so interesting about this is so many more people are going to learn about Rise Up, the great work that happens with Rise Up Industries, starting with that mission statement. And man, we could have stopped at Nadine, couldn't we? Where is Nadine at? Where's she at? Where's Nadine? Stand up, Nadine. Where are you? Now, I don't know about you, but when somebody gives a talk like that, she deserved a standing ovation. Let's give her one right now. This is for you, Nadine. Yes. She worked so hard on that presentation, and I saw her. She was very, you weren't nervous, were you? Just a little bit. But I'll tell you what, her story is very compelling because that's why we're here. And she talked about that mission statement. Did you hear the mission statement? Let me read it again. Rise Up Industries' mission is to minimize gang involvement through an integrated approach of gang prevention, gang intervention, and post-detention reentry services. That's a powerful mission statement, and they're doing it. Nadine and Eric and others that you're going to hear tonight are evidence that that's happening and why your participation, your continued involvement is so important. So Nadine, thank you once again for that wonderful opening to this meeting tonight. So if you were here last year, raise your hand. You don't have to stand. But you know, our keynote speaker last year is Father Greg Boyle, and he's the founder of Global Homeboy Network, Homeboy Industries, and he was our keynote speaker. And Rise Up Industries is a they're also a subsidiary of that as well. It's the largest gang intervention reentry program in the world. That's in the world. So we know that gangs, we know intervention, post-detention reentry services is not just a San Diego phenomenon, a California phenomenon. It's a worldwide phenomenon, and people are getting involved with it. If you were in the silent auction area, how about a big hand for all the folks who put the silent auction together? And a big thank you to Louis Santani for singing during the cocktail hour. Give him a big hand. And a couple other thank yous as well. The Lucky Duck Foundation, who's responsible for creating 2 videos you'll be seeing here tonight. Where's the Lucky Duck Foundation table? They're right here. We got Will Shea here from Lucky Duck. And through that, Rise Up got connected to Mary and Rolf Benershka, who are with us tonight. Where's Mary and Rolf at? Mary and Rolf, where are you? They're right here. Let's give them a big hand. And through the Lucky Duck Foundation, they've invited Rise Up Industries to be one of the 6 initial nonprofit partners with the Be a Friend Impact a Life program that pairs our members with a supportive friend to walk alongside them as they move forward in life. Once again, we want to thank Marianne Rolfe and the Lucky Duck Foundation. Let's give them one more big hand. And you know, an event like this couldn't be big without big support, and we'd like to thank our visionary sponsor, the Torrey Pines Bank. It's their 3rd year of sponsorship. Let's clap it up for them. Tonight's lead sponsors are SDG&E and the Jacobs Center for Neighborhood Intervention, and SDG&E is here. Where's SDG&E at? Where are you at? They're over here. Let's give them a big hand. My friends from SDG&E, I'm on their Community Advisory Board, so thank you for being here and supporting tonight. And Jacobs Center for Neighborhood Intervention has sold the Rise Up, the building that we're moving into, and you'll hear more about that later on. I'd like to acknowledge the clergy and civic leaders in attendance tonight. We have Dr. Tina King up front here. Dr. Tina King is the president of San Diego Community College Continuing Education. Let's give Tina a big hand. And they're actually neighbors with Rise Up because they're located on Ocean View in southeast San Diego behind the Home Depot. Everybody knows where that is, off of Imperial. And Rise Up is off of Market Street, right next to the new Live Well Center that they just cut the ribbon on the other day. And so I hope the 2 of you can get together soon and make great things happen. From the Catholic Diocese of San Diego and clergy, if you're here, please stand and be recognized. All right. We appreciate you. And from the city of National City, Mayor Ron Morrison is here. Ron, let's give him a big hand. And from the County of San Diego, our District Attorney and Deputy District Attorney, we have Martin Nunez and Summer Steffen. Let's give them both a big hand. So at this time, we'd like to invite all of the board members. We heard Nadine is one, but if you're a member of the Board of Directors of Rise Up Industries, please stand and be acknowledged. Come on, give them a real big hand. Because something like this doesn't happen. Being in business for 10 years doesn't happen without a strong board. You are awesome with a capital A, for sure, for sure. So tonight we're celebrating hope, kinship, and fair chances. We will hear from Kenneth Hartman, author of Mother California. We'll also hear from Michael Lucero, a Rise Up graduate and now permanent employee, Rise Together to support the reentry program's renovation project for its new expanded facility. And on your way out, you'll receive a gift from Rise Up that includes a newly released book written by 4 current reentry program members. 2 of these authors, Joseph and Mike, are with us tonight, and our thanks goes to Leslie Willis, the book's editor and writing coach for these members. Would those 3 stand up, please? Joseph, Mike, and Leslie, please stand and be recognized. There's one, there they go. Thank you. So at this time, I want to introduce somebody that everybody knows for sure. He's the Deputy Executive Director of Rise Up Industries, Jonathan Yackley.
Thank you, Michael, so much for that introduction, and thank you all for being here. As I'm looking out and getting to see how many people stood that are here for the first time and all of the familiar faces from before, I am filled with gratitude and realize that we would never have gotten anywhere close to where we're at right now if it wasn't for all of your support. So thank you all for being here and supporting us as we prepare to raise some funds to renovate a facility that we actually purchased this time last year at last year's Big Night Out. So thank you so much. And in this section, I want to ask the big question of the evening: why are we here? It probably isn't because of that tall, bald, charismatic guy that you heard last year that you want to hear again, but I do want to warn you that we did bring a couple more of us bald people around to speak. So Kenneth Hartman, thanks so much for being willing to be our guest speaker tonight. And Mike Lucero, you're going to be a perfect grad speaker. And I tell you what, if we go at the pace that we've been going at, our executive director, Joe Gilbreth, might actually lose his first hair as well. So, but in all seriousness, why are we here? It might sound like a trivial question, but the answer to it's actually pretty critical to the way we view the rest of the evening. For the hyper left-brained people among us, you may be thinking, well, the answer is obvious. The reentry program's been a demonstrably effective program. The national average is 66% of those relieving incarceration are going to be arrested again within 3 years of release. But among reentry program graduates, it's only 5%, and 100% have been employed. Yeah. Thank you. And 100% have been employed immediately upon graduation. And so clearly, since they've got more demand for the program than they have capacity to enroll, it need to get a larger space, increase the CNC machines from 6 to 14, be able to double the enrollment capacity of the reentry program. And so if all of that makes sense to you, great. Feel free to tune me out for the rest of the talk. But for the rest of you who are still scratching your heads wondering, what does renovating a building have anything to do with the stories I'm hearing today, the lives I'm seeing? Well, my encouragement for you tonight would be to follow the thread of cause and effect as far as it can go, and to consider that when an individual leaving incarceration decides and makes that decision to redirect the arc of their lives, it's not an individual decision with an isolated impact, but rather it leaves a wake behind, not only positively impacting those in their network, but also the generation that's coming up from behind them, that's wondering and watching and asking, do I take that same familiar road that so many people I know have taken, or is there another path forward? Tonight we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary, but we're also achieved another milestone this year. We had our 100th speaking engagement with reentry program members and graduates in the community. And among those, it's mostly to youth. Anyone who's in here tonight who's had an opportunity of being present at one of those gatherings probably came away with the same message that we all do. Somehow, without speaking to each other, our members and grads all share about the same message. And it's not one of scolding or saying, don't do on the track that you're on or you're gonna end up going to prison. No, it's one of self-worth, of dignity and hope. It goes something like this: you matter. Your life matters. Don't throw it away. You've got dignity. Don't believe the lie that people can be disposable. You're not disposable. There's hope, and you've got a future. Stick to it. You can do it. One of our members who wasn't able to be present tonight, he just got sick, he was sharing recently with a group of youth. I guess this was several months ago. And there was a young girl in the group, and the girl, having found out that this member had had a daughter while he was incarcerated, asked him, did you think about your daughter much while you were incarcerated? And no one needed to tell him anything. He instantly intuited, this girl has a father that's incarcerated right now. And she's wondering, is my dad thinking about me? And so without needing any prompting, he just looked at her and said, not a day went by that I didn't think about my daughter, and she was a big reason why I turned things around. And so I want you to remember what I was saying earlier. When an individual decides to redirect the arc of their lives, it's not an isolated impact. It leaves a wake, not only positively impacting the people around them, but the next generation who's looking forward and wondering, how are we going to proceed? So whether you're here tonight because you believe in fair chances, or you're here because you have a concern that next generation coming up, or maybe like me, you've been impacted by the words of Mother Teresa that the problem with the world is that we've forgotten that we belong to each other, and your presence here tonight is a vote in favor of kinship and belonging and solidarity. Or maybe you're one of our manufacturing partners. They're here tonight, and in addition to fair chances, you also believe and are aware of the fact that we have a major skill gap in the CNC machining economy right now, and this is actually programs like this are actually very good for the economy. But for whatever reason, we're glad that you're here with us tonight. And before we proceed with the video and the rest of our dinner service, I'd be remiss if I didn't share one final update and a little bit of information. Our machine shop social enterprise at Rise Up Industries, which is where we prepare individuals for careers in the CNC machining industry. That's computer numeric control. It's in the advanced manufacturing industry, by giving them real-world experience and on-the-job training. It also provides a source of revenue, which helps make the program more sustainable and offsets program costs. A big reason that we're moving to this facility is we're able to expand, add more CNCs, and we believe that this is going to make the program more sustainable in the long term. You can even see the building, the spins flashing on the slides behind me. In preparation for that, we've also begun pursuing our AS9100 certification, which will allow us to do aerospace work, which is a further enhancement. Thank you. And this is a further enhancement of the training and career prospects that our graduates can receive. But it's also a good source of potential future revenue. So I'm told there may be a Boeing representative who may be here tonight, and if that is the case, you may be getting a knock on your door from us shortly. So without further ado, let me go ahead and intro us into the video of Mike, who was previously introduced. He's one of our permanent staff here. He's one of my inspirations, and I'm sure that you will all hear from him tonight and feel the same. So thank you all.
Rise Up Industries is giving dozens of people hope through a second chance. Every graduate of the program has gone on to gain employment, including many like Michael Lacera.
My parents were struggled with addiction, things of that nature. Sometimes we wouldn't have a home. Like when my parents were young, we lived in tents at times.
In search of a family and a place to fit in, Michael found a near-perfect match, a local gang.
I found a subculture that rewarded me for my behavior, which was violence and more drug use and just a daring bravado in life of, hey, let's steal a car, hey, let's shoot at people.
Gang life led to multiple stays in prison. Michael's last conviction earned him 17 years behind bars.
My mom was a big motivator for me because she really transformed her life. She held on all the way through. Didn't always see eye to eye on stuff, but she never gave up on me.
Although he couldn't see the end of his prison term, Michael decided he wanted to use his negative experience as a positive to help others and himself.
I'm a human being, and if I have hopes and dreams, I have a right to have those, you know? I ended up receiving 3 associate's degrees when I was in prison, getting clean and sober completely, and just really working towards being a motivator for other people. And there's a whole lot of people in prison that want to change.
Late in his prison term, Michael learned about Rise Up. He was attracted to the possibilities of employment and helping others. He was accepted into the program, and during his 18 months at Rise Up, Michael became an excellent, caring mentor to classmates. In the summer of 2023, Michael completed his 18 months in the program, graduating from Rise Up on his birthday. Happy birthday, dear Mike. Happy birthday to you. And he already had a job offer on the table.
I know if he could get this far in a community like this, that he will go all the way.
Michael's job offer? Well, he had been so good mentoring and encouraging his classmates that Rise Up asked him to stay and work for them.
He's already showing leadership. He's already encouraging people along the way. It's not just about him receiving services. It's about the combination of both receiving and giving. That plus just his innate skill and competency makes him just an amazing hire for Rise Up Industries.
It's me being able to pour myself into something that I truly have a belief in. I believe that these men have a right to be more than they've ever imagined they can be. It's a dream come true to think that I can succeed. There are people that believe in you, you know, even before you believe in yourself. That's a tremendous thing. That's new to me.
Do I want to buy into that and be a part of that? Or is there still something?
Now we're on. Thank you. I hope everybody's enjoying their dinner. How about a big hand for the servers and those that prepared the food tonight? And so sometimes you know how it is, you have to adjust and adapt with things, and we're doing that with the schedule right now. So if we could bring the room noise down just a little bit, because we tried to show a video a little bit earlier. I think everybody was busy talking and having a good time, which is what we want you to do. But we've got a speaker that's going to come up soon, but we've got a video we'd like you to watch before he does come up. Please pay your attention to the screen right now. We're going to show the video once again.
It's kind of my domain, kind of being the resident machinist, and it's where all the magic happens.
There hadn't been much magic in Joseph Ragland's life for some time. He'd been in trouble with the law and was serving an 11-year sentence.
Being in county jail, I had to either accept, do I want to buy into that and be a part of that? Or is there still something more for me that exists outside of these walls?
Joseph decided there was plenty more for him to do outside the prison walls. He was released after 7 years and 9 months behind bars. But upon getting out, there were countless challenges.
What I had been studying for and preparing for claims adjusting was not available to me because of my background. So, here I am, in the world again, and I have to work, and there's so many questions, and so many uncertainties that I had to deal with.
At Rise Up, Joseph found answers to nearly all of those questions.
It wasn't a place where I had to shy away from having gone to prison. Rise Up also allowed me to accept the fact that I could still be a blessing, not just an inspiration, but I could be a help, to people, even though I had gone through some things and needed help myself.
Joseph excelled at Rise Up, and when he completed the 18-month program, he had a job waiting for him at a machine shop at a company named Pathway NPI.
My role is machinist slash programmer slash engineering tech.
There are still some challenges.
Things that I still struggle with every day. Self-worth still. Is this my purpose still? Do I have what it takes still?
In Rise Up, Joseph has a place to go for answers, and he's developed more personal tools.
Studying the Word, meditating, praying, all of those things are important. And I can't lose sight of those things, because those are the things that got me through when it was most dark.
It has taken great courage and determination for him to get this far, and Joseph has also developed some healthy humility.
Pride is the enemy of growth. I'm very reluctant to say I'm proud of, anything that I've done, because I really don't believe I've done anything yet.
No doubt Joseph still has a ton to learn, but the fact that he's more or less running a shop is a testament to just how quickly he does learn and how great of an employee he is.
Being reminded that you do have some worth is key. And, being in places like Rise Up, it's a constant reminder that you're not the sum total of what you've gone through. I just know that there's a calling and, a purpose in my life to be a help.
Joseph Ragland has come full circle, from someone in need of help to someone eager to help. He's not sure where that path will lead, but thanks to Rise Up and others, he's headed toward a positive future for himself, and who knows how many others.
So once again, let's give another big hand to Lucky Duck Foundation, who helped put these videos together for us tonight. And so a few days ago, I was asked, should we show 2 videos? And they sent me this one of Joseph, and I said, absolutely, absolutely. And aren't you glad we did? It's these stories we need to see, we need to hear. It's real stuff. And Joseph is here with us tonight. Stand up, please. Yes, yes. Great job, man. Yes, yes. Now we're going to meet another Joe right now, Joe Tapia, who's going to introduce our next speaker. Let's welcome Joe Tapia to the stage.
Thank you. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. As someone who's participated and benefited from Rise Up as a program, I personally want to thank everybody. Now, I have the distinct privilege of introducing our keynote speaker tonight, Ken Hartman. But before I do, I want to tell you how I came to know Ken. We were incarcerated. I met him, I believe, in the late 1980s. We were both incarcerated at CCI, California Correctional Institution of Tehachapi. Now, Ken, he was known by the administration and by those of us in the community as someone who would advocate for our rights. In other words, put his neck on the line for us. So it came to no surprise to me that when years later he would be transferred, that I would hear that he had a bold plan that he proposed to the prison administration that he wanted to create an honor yard, a program yard, a yard where men like himself just wanted to do their time. You may wonder about the results. The results are that he demystified the idea that convicted criminals were incorrigible. The results, that if you give an individual an opportunity and the support, he can and will change. You know, I've had the opportunity to share this with a few people here tonight, that Ken is a remarkable human being. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you tonight my friend and our keynote speaker, Kenneth Hartman.
Okay, I have to say about my friend Joe Tapia, it feels like time has been much nicer to his hair than mine. And I'm a little unhappy about that, frankly. Anyway, I just want to thank you all for the opportunity to talk to you tonight about supporting reentry and Rise Up Industries, both of which certainly also deserve a round of applause. So I'm coming to you tonight from Santa Monica, which is up the coast a bit from here. It's where I live now. It's a pretty cool place. I recently read in Forbes magazine that one of the 10 best neighborhoods to live in the United States is the neighborhood that I currently live in Santa Monica, which I don't know if I get applause for that. I think I just got lucky, frankly. But for me, the part that's meaningful about that is I spent 38 years of my life in some of the worst neighborhoods in America. And, you know, somehow or other, I managed to get from there to there. So when I was 19 years old, I killed a man named Thomas in a drunken fist fight in Long Beach, California. That's the truth. What I didn't have back then is what most people in prison don't have now, which is I didn't have a stable family, I didn't have a good school, I didn't have a good neighborhood, and I didn't have any kind of real, safety in my life. There's a thing called the Adverse Childhood Experiences Scale, where you get certain points depending on how many bad things have happened to you when you were a child. I had a really high number, which also most people in prison also have. So none of these things are not related. They all are. I also believe, that, none of that excuses any of us for the actions of our lives. We bear the burden of what we did. I will always bear the burden of the remorse that I feel for the things that I did when I was a child. There's an adage about hurt people, and that was true for me. When I first arrived in prison in 1980, which is like 43 years ago now, I was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole, and I had resigned myself that I was going to die in prison. And I really believed that too, and it took me many years, before I finally came to a place, that I was able to say, maybe there's something better is going to happen. But one of the things that to me is ironic is, the worse you make prisons, the worse they work for people who I was. People who loathe themselves, who have no self-esteem. You make the prison harder and tougher, it has the exact opposite effect that everybody thinks. You go, yep, I deserve this. This is what I should get. And then, so I did, about 10 years into my prison sentence, I got lucky. I met someone, sort of a weird set of circumstances, and I fell in love with her. And she fell in love with me, which for reasons I still don't fully understand. But it caused me to see things differently. And what it ultimately did is, I felt that I had to do something better with my life. And I concluded that because I was going to die in prison, I wanted to make prison better. I want to make where I lived in the world a little bit better, a little bit less terrible. And what that came to be known as, which Joe told you a little bit earlier, was the honor program. And I spent many years fighting for that. And what it fundamentally was, it was a full facility that was set aside where people renounced being part of gangs, renounced using drugs and alcohol, you know, and said, I want to live a better life. And, you know, we were lucky. We had a pretty progressive warden at Lancaster at that time, and he started the facility. And I became kind of this chief spokesperson for that facility for, you know, about 17, 18 years until I was able to get out of prison. You know, I can't, one of the things I also want to say, just two things really about that. First is, I get people come up to me all the time now who've gotten out of prison, and they say, thank you so much for, you know, helping to create that yard. It's a very humbling thing for me, and it means a lot. And the other thing is I have to say, and this is very hard to say in any way that can make a lot of sense, but no one who hasn't done time in a California prison can understand how horrible it truly is. And that's not saying you don't have empathy. It doesn't mean that you don't have compassion. I know you do. But it is a truly horrific experience, and none of us who experienced it have not been traumatized by it. And I think that's something that we all of us that are working in this space trying to make things better have to remember. You know, also, for reasons that still evade me, Governor Brown chose to commute my sentence in 2017. And, you know, Governor Brown's a Catholic. And I was told that my sentence had been commuted on Holy Saturday of 2017, day before Easter. And it was a pretty, you know, remarkable thing that, you know, I still don't fully comprehend. But I promised him that I would never make him regret that decision. And I believe that I have never made him regret that decision. I've lived up to that. You know, and also, I'll be meeting the governor soon. We've talked several times. He still never has given me a good rationale for why he picked me out of all the people that could have got out. And there are many people who should be getting out too that haven't. But, you know, in California prisons, a lot of us, you know, we dream of when we get out that we're going to go to the ocean, you know, the Pacific Ocean. And I believe you all are going to see a picture of me soon, I hope. There I am. And that's a little less than, or a little more than 6 years ago. That's Zuma, which is kind of like North Malibu, which is my favorite beach in the world. No offense to any San Diego partisans here. But you know, it was a magical moment. And, you know, right there in that moment, I think I'm realizing that an impossible dream of freedom has happened, because I never thought it would happen. I really didn't. So I'm now the Director of Advocacy for the Transformative In-Prison Work Group, which we know is a crummy name, and you know, we're trying to work on that. But we work to represent 87 member organizations, community-based organizations like Rise Up Industries, which we hope will become a member soon. And what we do is we represent them, we help them do their job of trying to make things better, of trying to give human beings a chance to get their lives better. We believe fundamentally that every human being is capable of being better than their worst moment. Everyone, without any exception. And as Director of Advocacy, it's my job to represent this to legislators and journalists and members of the public, you know, why we should be supporting these organizations and why it matters. It's a tough job, to be frank, but I believe I was made for this job. I really do. And it's certainly not because I'm good looking, because, well, I'm not. But I feel like what I am good at is I feel a real deep passion for this to the core of my being, and it is my way of making amends to society for the rest of my life for what I did when I was a kid, because I want to make good to whatever degree I can out of the bad that was in my life. And I know that that's one of the things that Rise Up Industries tries to do with everyone. So bear with me for a second because I'm going to run through some numbers and stuff, and I know they're boring, but I think they're important. You know, so every day in this country, 1,400 people are released from prison and arrive on the doorsteps of our communities. The vast majority of them end up in under-resourced and over-policed communities, disproportionately communities of color, and exclusively, pretty much, communities of poverty. Each year, more than 600,000 people are released from state and federal prisons. 600,000 every year are getting out. And another 9 million people cycle through our jails. So, I mean, we're talking about a huge problem here, right? I mean, Senator James Webb some years ago wrote an article that was in Parade magazine where he talked about how, you know, we have 5% of the world's population, about 25% of the world's prisoners, and he said, either there's something really wrong with us or there's something wrong with our criminal justice system. So, you know, I think it's the latter, personally. And these are astonishing numbers because, you know, roughly 2/3 of formerly incarcerated people are rearrested within 3 years, and that's a terrible thing too, right? So this is deeply depressing stuff. So what separates one person who succeeds on parole from another who does not? They're really not complicated things. Stuff like housing. Housing is important. Employment, a safety net, which is something almost no one has when they get out. And what a safety net is, very simply, it's the connections that you've all made in your lives with your friends and neighbors, people you work for, the bank, all that stuff. When you spend 38 years in prison, the bank doesn't know who you are, right? Nobody knows who you are. You're just some person standing there and you're like, oh, I need help. They're like, well, why should we help you? So, you know, but more fundamentally, you need a place to feel wanted and respected, and you need a connection with something bigger than yourself. And again, this is something Rise Up Industries does, I know, because I've been at a couple of events now, and I'm so impressed with that. And I'm going to suggest that all this boils down to like a simple but really hard to implement thing, which is real and consistent support. That's what it takes. Kind of like a family, right? Like if you had a good family, you get support from your family. Most of us who ended up in prison didn't have good families. That's the truth. And I'm going to speak only for myself because, you know, I can't speak for everybody else, and I certainly do not represent every person who's been in prison. Most people in prison don't look like me. I got to be honest about that, right? But I believe that all of us are more alike than we're different in my personal belief. And I believe that, you know, I did need a safe place to live when I got out. I needed work when I got out. I needed counseling and mentoring and a social circle to hold me to what was truly one of the most challenging experiences of my life. And, you know, and I wrote on this piece of paper right here that I'm looking at occasionally. It's like, getting out of prison is not easy. It's really not. It's really hard, in fact. And this is one of the reasons so many people fail. Getting out of prison is tough. It really is. And, you know, I personally have likened it to, if you can imagine, there's this stream of water, this raging stream of water, and there's rocks inside the river. Those rocks are prisons. And what happens when you get out is somebody pushes you off that rock into the river, and you go flying down this river, and you're going, what the, you know, that's what it feels like when you get out. And that's what it feels like when you get out when you did 38 years, and I think it probably feels like that when you did 28 years or 8 years or a couple of years, you know. And I think that's one of the reasons things go bad so often. I don't think people get the kind of holistic circle of support that I got. I did get that. I had made a lot of connections with people. I write. I was an activist. You know, I did all that kind of stuff. So I made a bunch of friends, and I was lucky. A lot of people stepped up for me, and I'll be forever grateful to those people who did. You know, I also think, you know, people who have not been in prison think getting out must be really fun. You know, and people, you can't really complain to people. You know, it's like, God, this is just terrible. And people are like, what? What are you talking about? So, you know. So anyways, this is where an organization like Rise Up Industries really shines, right? Rise Up Industries has put into practice the best ideas about reentry, marketable skills training, community, and true support. And man, that deserves a round of applause, please. And you know, and this is like, we're not the only people applauding them, right? You know, I only found this out recently, but in October of 2021, San Diego's County Board of Supervisors issued a research request for the best practices in advancing equity through alternatives to incarceration. These findings were published in March 2023. Among the recommendations, they named Rise Up Industries right? As a primary example of a promising post-release job skills and employment program in San Diego County, the independent body even recommended that Rise Up Industries should be evaluated and possibly expanded, right? And that's what we're here for tonight, right? They're expanding. Yay! Okay, I've probably gone longer than I should have if I know myself, but so I just want to say, if you take anything out of this conversation I'm having with you tonight, I hope it's that people getting out of prison need real support that holds them inside of a supportive circle. My hope is that all of us, formerly incarcerated, never incarcerated, all of us step up and become a part of these supportive circles. This is a society job. This is not like just, you know, a few people, a few do-gooders. This is everybody's job. We need this. We really do. You know, the best reentry programs are built on a model of creating a community, providing opportunity, and holding people accountable with love and compassion. These are principles that all of us should be able to support, right? The last thing I want to say, and I just came upon this when I was thinking about this speech, was I came across a statistic, and I thought it was very apropos to this event. And I think it is kind of what Rise Up Industries does. So I have to share this tonight. The chance of drowning at a beach with a lifeguard is 1 in 18 million. Think about that, 1 in 18 million. So what I'm going to say to all of us is, let's all be lifeguards for our fellow human beings, right? That's what we're here for on this earth. So thank you, Rise Up Industries, for all the good work you do, and thank all of you for this opportunity. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, but please sit down because we have a schedule and Nicole's going to be mad if we lock it off.
That's some real talk, wasn't it? Yes, it was. Lived experience is so important, and I know Kenneth, in the very beginning, he talked about the ACES program, the ACES test. Who's ever heard of the ACES test before? And I've got it right here. If you go on, this is the time to pick up your phone. Pick your phone up and just go online and type in AmericanSPCC.org, and on it, it says, take the ACES quiz and answer for yourself just to see where you would fit in terms of having these indicators and predicting what's going to end up with your life. This is real stuff, and the reason why it's important for me, and Kenneth, I just really appreciate your comments. For the 22 years I was at the Jackie Robinson Family YMCA, we had a juvenile court and community school there. It's called the Sports Academy. And the criteria for those kids to get into the Sports Academy, they got kicked out of every school they ever went to. And it was also an alternative for them going to juvenile hall. You know, so they would put them into schools as long as they can last. And so what's really beautiful about what Rise Up is doing, they're not only dealing with reentry population, they're also starting programs for prevention. So when you hear about those with lived experience talking to real kids in those communities where they grew up at, that's a powerful message right there. And for us that have never been there or done that or killed somebody or spent time in prison and got out and talking about it in a different kind of way, only they can deliver that message, and they are, like we're hearing it tonight. So, Kenneth, I want to thank you for your comments tonight, Joe for the introduction, and once again, Joseph for the video. This is real deal stuff, and I really appreciate all of you right now for saying that. So now, before we get on with why I'm really here, you know, I'm the MC, but I'm also the auctioneer, but I'm going to give you a break for a minute because we're going to give something away right now. How about the beautiful centerpieces on the table right now? Yes. And what we're going to do, we're not going to auction them off, but what we're going to do is whoever's birthday is closest to today, that's your centerpiece. So you may have to talk a little bit about determining who that person is. So let's see who's going to take the centerpiece home. All right, do we have winners everywhere? Okay, if you won the centerpiece at your table, please stand up and we'll give you a big hand right now. All right, we got some winners over there. Who's got it at this table? Okay. All right, you going home with some roses. All right, let's bring it back home because right now we do have a special guest tonight who's with us, and I introduced her earlier today. Our County of San Diego District Attorney, Summer Stephan, has a special presentation for Executive Director Joe Gilbreth. So let's give Summer a big hand right now.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm Summer Stephan, your San Diego County District Attorney. It's my honor to be here. It's not my first time. I've been involved with Rise Up since 2017, consistently. I visited the plant in Santee and had you guys provided mean barbecue, so that was great. But really more important is I got to meet everybody, and I got to meet some of the amazing people that had the courage to change, and then people that believed in change in the Rise Up leadership. And this is what justice looks like. And from my perspective, I've been a supporter ever since, because unfortunately in government, we see lots of times that things that fail are repeated over and over and over. And we absolutely know that they're a failure, because we know that, as the statistics show, within 3 years, maybe, that's actually a pretty long number, there's a rearrest, which means not only that this is damage for the person being rearrested, it's damage for the community. It means there's one more victim, and there's one more family and child left without a father or a mother. So what Rise Up presents, in my view, and I just want to commend you and compliment everybody here, but especially the courageous participants, because that's what Maya Angelou said. The virtue of courage is one of the most difficult and important virtues. Without it, nothing else is possible. Change is a leap. It's like leaping into the water, as our speaker has said, with rocks underneath you. And you've done that, and you've transformed your life along with the lives of your families. In my estimation, it is the best re-entry from prison program, the best change maker. There's many great organizations, but allowing somebody the dignity of work, of actual work where they earn a living, is transformational and replaces poverty and provides opportunity. So I want to thank you. I'm not going to read everything I wrote, but it's very nice. And I want to congratulate and thank you to my friend Michael for hosting this event again. Anything that Michael is involved in is just kind of guaranteed a good evening, a good thing. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Summer. So we're here tonight to do a number of things. We want to make Rise Up bigger, right? Yes. We know it's the best. We've heard that so many times from so many people, but we want to make it bigger. And the way we're going to do it is giving them the support that it's going to take to grow it and sustain it. And that's why we're here, is to try and really give them the support that they really need to make that happen. And for those that are here for the first time, the others have heard this story before, but when I first took that visit to the Rise Up Industries in Santee, I walked away saying, God, it's so small. They're doing so much good in such a tiny place. They need something bigger. And what I walked away, I don't have the money to give away and the big money to make an impact like that, but I had a connection over at the Jacobs Center for Neighborhood Intervention, where they had this Bryco building that I know was for sale. And I connected Joe with Reginald Jones, and they're in the building now. All right? And there's more. There's somebody here, Robert Berner. Where's Robert Berner at? Who I introduced Robert to Rise Up Industries, and he came in with a major gift that helped them own it and got the purchase of it. And so it's those kind of things that I want you to think about right now, because I'm going to do some asking. You know I'm not afraid to ask, right? Who knows where the Jackie Robinson YMCA is? Who remembers the old Jackie Robinson YMCA? All right, well, I went there in 97. I came to San Diego in 1980 to coach basketball at San Diego State. So yes, there was basketball at San Diego State before Steve Fisher. And we did go to the NCAA tournament back in '85. And so we were there, but I was there from '80 to '87 and started the Police Athletic League, ran that for 10 years. That's where I met Terry Castor for the first time when I spoke at his old Mission Rotary Club. And he was so impressed with what we were doing, definitely wanted to support us. So good to see you here tonight. But what happened is after 10 years there, I went to the Y, and we had this old Y, and I just said, why couldn't the Jackie Robinson YMCA look like the other Ys? Like Mission Valley, like La Jolla, like Ecke, you know? And so we ended up demolished the old Jackie Robinson YMCA, built a new one, but it took raising $40 million to do that, and I did it. I don't know if we're going to raise $40 million tonight, but I'll tell you what, we're definitely going to ask and let you know what is needed so that we can leave here tonight knowing that we did the best we could do for Rise Up Industries. So with that on mind, are you ready for the live auction? These items were not available online, so what we're going to do right now, we've got 5, the tour and lunch with Father Greg Boyle, 1 year of date night package, the dinner party for 14, Palm Desert vacation, and the USD versus Gonzaga basketball game. So here comes the first one right now. We've got a video from last year's keynote speaker, Father Greg Boyle. Let's let it roll. Oh, don't take a picture of that. Oh. We'll let him try it one more time. It was working earlier, and it's a beautiful video from Father Greg. Who was here last year to hear him speak? Yes, yes.
Hi, this is Greg Boyle from Homeboy Industries, inviting you to support Rise Up Industries and their big night out. I'm an auction item, so please bid on me. A lunch at Homegirl Cafe for 4, and a tour, and a whole bunch of other things. I look forward to meeting you. And please support Rise Up Industries. It's the most wonderful thing that's happening in San Diego, and they are worthy of your support. Blessings, and thank you.
There you go. So yes, when he said he is the auction item, he is, because what you'll get is an inspiring day with Father Greg Boyle and Homeboy Industries. The package will include lunch for 4 with Father Greg, 4 signed copies of Forgive Everyone Everything. Listen to that again. Forgive Everyone Everything. That's powerful. Amtrak tickets for 4. A tour of Homeboy's Industry. The value is priceless, and it's donated by Homeboy Industries and the Moody family. The restriction, there's only one. Date will need to align with Father Greg's schedule. We'll let him do that, won't we? So we're going to open up the bidding right now at $500. Who'd like to bid $500 for this day with Father Greg? We've got 448 right here. How about, let's go to 1,000. How about $1,000? We've got 403 over here. 2,000. Can I get 2,000 for this day with Father Greg? Can I get 2,000? We got 448 again. Can I get 2,500? 2,500? 2,500? I'm looking, 2,500, 488. Rolf, thank you. How about 3,000 for this day with Father Greg? And you will enjoy it. Trust me when I tell you, he's a great guy. And if you've got 4 people, you can take 3 friends with you. 448 said 3,000. 3,500, can I get 3,500? 3,500. Rolf again at 488. 4,000, can I get $4,000 for this day with Father Greg Boyle. 4,000, 4,000, 4,000. Some of you thinking about it. I know I'm going to see a number soon, 4,000. If not, we've got 3,500 going once. No, we got 4,000, 403, 4,500. Ross there, 4,500. How about $5,000 for this day with Father Greg? $5,000. We got 4,500 going once, 4,500 going twice. Rolf Benerska, I think you're going to take Mary with you, aren't you? For $4,500, let's give Rolf a big hand right now. Thank you, Rolf. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a good start, but it's going to get better, because here we have a luxurious date night. So this is a popular one last year. The package is huge, and enjoy wonderful evenings out with your favorite person. One night stay at the Fairmont Grand Del Mar for 2 guests. 2 tickets to Humphrey's Concerts by the Bay for Daryl Hall and Daryl Hall's house band with special guest Todd Rundgren. My goodness. $250 gift certificate to Caserna, $150 to the Brigantine, $150 to Kentner Exchange. Somebody has some leftover gift cards, right? $150 to Antica Trattoria, $150 to Mr. A's, $150 to Born and Raised, $125 to North Italia, $100 to Dukes in La Jolla, $100 to Cineopolis, $100 gift certificate to the Godfather Restaurant, and 6 bottles of wine. And this was donated by the Rise Up Industries Board of Directors and friends, including Beverly and Herb Lieberman and Republic National Distribution Company. Give them all a big hand. And we're just going to start this big bid right now, $1,000. Who wants it? We've got a bunch. Okay, we're going right to $2,500 right now. Who wants $2,500? 418. Can I get 3,000? 3,000 for this. Oh, you go. You put it. Do it again. Come on, you can do that. We have 2,500. Can we get 3,000? Can we get 3,000? If not, we've got 2,500 going one. No, we got 498 at 3,000. How about 3,500? 3,500. 3,500. Come on, you know he wants it over here. 3,000 going once. 3,000 going twice. I'm looking. I see none. You're going for 3. Oh. 3,477. How about 3,500? You up? What was it? It's 3,500. Yes, he is. 4,000? Are you in at 4,000? 4,000, they're in. 4,500? He said no. 4,500. Okay, 4,000 going once. 4,000 going twice. You've got it at $4,000. Yes. And somebody is going to be very happy for a year, that's for sure. Oh, my goodness. Okay, item number 3. There's a lot of reading here, and listen, kids, this is a spectacular dinner party for 4. Elevate your dining experience to new heights with our in-home culinary extravaganza for 14 people. A unique offering you won't want to miss. Imagine savoring a delicious meal surrounded by your closest friends and families. You know the drill if you've been to one of these before. The package includes elegant table setup, themed cuisine, delectable dessert, dining-style appetizers. It's donated by Rebecca and Larry Sheehan. And right now, the only restrictions are beverages are not included. Got to bring your own B.O.B. You've done that before. You know that. B.O.B. cannot be used on Thanksgiving Day or December 24 to 31. Must be booked at least 30 days in advance and must be redeemed by December 31, 2024. So we're talking about spectacular dinner party for 14. We'll start the bidding at $1,000. Who would like to take 14 to dinner? Okay. Yeah, I'll ask them if they'll double it up and do it twice, but I haven't heard this, so I'll let Nicole research this. So we had an ask if somebody wants to double up on it, we can do that too. All right, who'd like to start at 1,000 on this dinner for 14? We got 381. How about 2,000? 2,000, 324, 3,000, 3,000, 3,000. Can I get 3,000? Can I get 2,500? 2,500, 2,500. If not, we've got 2,000, we've got 2,500 at 508, 3,000 once again, 3,000. We've got 2,500 going once. This is dinner for 14. Dinner for 14, 2,500 going once, 2,500 going twice. You're taking 14 people out for $2,500. Let's give her a big hand. Thank you. All right, next up is the Palm Desert Extravaganza. The Palm Desert's unspoiled natural. I don't need to tell you about who's been to Palm Desert. We all know it's nice. The pictures look beautiful, but it's at the Embark Palm Desert. Everything here is designed to be enjoyed outside the year-round worth. The package includes 3 days and 2-night getaway at the Embark Palm Desert for up to 6 guests, a 2-room condo, either whatever you want. There are 2 pools, 3 days and 2 nights, $150 gift card to Restaurante Mama Gina, Palm Desert's most exceptional Italian restaurant, a $150 gift certificate to J.J. Winks, Aloha brand travel and tote pouch, 2 bottles of wine. This has been donated by Jody and Mike Burke, Kathy and Frank Emilio, and the Republic National Distribution Company. The restrictions are contact Mike and Judy Burke for available booking dates, no expiration. How many of us have bought things at a situation like this and never use it, right? So this will last forever. Just call them for the dates that you want. So let's start. This sounds like a pretty exclusive place. Let's start the bidding at $1,000. 1,000, we got 40, we got several, 1,000. How about 2? Can we get 2,000? How about 2,500? 2,500 up front, 313, 25, 3,000. Can I get 3,000? How about 3,500, 3,500, 3,500? 3,000 is on the table right now, 3,500. We've got one right here. How about 4,000? Can I get 4,000? Come on, Frank. She wants to go. 4,000, okay. How about 4,500? Can we get 4,500? 4,500, I'm looking, and these lights are bright, so forgive me if I can't see you in the back, because I know some of you in the back want to raise, and if I don't see you, just shout it out. But the lights are bright. Can we get 4,500? We're at 4,000 right now, going once, 4,000 going twice. You're going to the Embark Palm Desert for $4,000. Thank you, Frank. And our final live auction item is the USD versus Gonzaga basketball game. We know what that means, right? Yes. So bring your family or friends to a sure-to-be exciting college basketball game. Floor-level seats to watch USD versus Gonzaga's men's college basketball game at Jenny Craig Pavilion on January 20, 2024. Includes reserved parking and access to the pregame reception. Second-year head coach Steve Lavin. Now, how many of you know about Steve at USD? Steve Lavin, prior to arriving at USD, he guided UCLA and St. John's to 8 NCAA tournament appearances in 11 years, a staple in college basketball for over 3 decades and 11 full seasons as a head coach at storied programs like UCLA and St. John's, accumulated record of 226 and 133 with 10 postseason appearances. He's led his programs to 8 NCAA tournaments, including 5 Sweet 16 appearances and an Elite 8. Lavin also reached 20 or more wins on 9 different occasions. The reason why I say all of this is I think he's going to turn the program around. What do you think? You think Steve Lavin's going to do a good job at USD? Yeah, so I think this would be a great time to get a hot ticket when you can, because you may not be able to get there. I know Brian Fogarty, where's Brian? Not Brian. Brian got the tickets for us, and we want to thank you again. Let's give Brian a real big hand for getting these tickets. And the University of San Diego Athletic Department. But every year we get these tickets, they're a hot ticket, and we know about Gonzaga, right? So is this the time for us to really raise some money here for these Gonzaga tickets? What do you think? Okay, so you've got right now, how many seats? 4 floor level seats. Are you ready? I'm going to start this at $1,000. $1,000 for these seats. 1,381. Thank you. How about 1,500? 1,500. We've got Rob Burner at 1,500. 2,000. 363. 2,500. 325. How about $3,000 for these tickets? $3,000 for these tickets. 3,000. 2,500's going once. No, we got 3,000 up front. 315, 3,000, 3,500, 3,500. Put those up. Okay, 325, $4,000. Rob, your daughter went. Okay, 4,000 right here. 4,500. You got your Gonzaga. Who's got kids that went to Gonzaga? You could take your child to the game. Come on now. They live in San Diego, can't get to a Gonzaga game. Okay, we're at 40. What were we at? 4,500. 4,000, how about 4,500, 4,500, 4,000, 4,500. Let's make it 5,000. I know you want them for 5,000. I know you're a fan. I can tell right now. Can we get 4,500? 4,500 going once, 4,500 going twice. Anybody want them at 5? If not, you're going to Gonzaga USD for $4,500. Yes, yeah. Okay, so we want to thank everybody for your participation, and at this time right now, I'd like to welcome to the podium Dustin Greaves, who's the well-loved machine shop manager and coach at Rise Up Industries. Give Dustin a big hand right now. If you have notes, you can put them right up on top of here, so you don't have to.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dustin Greaves. I'm the machine shop manager for Rise Up Industries. And it's truly my honor to be able to introduce our next speaker. We already got to see a little bit of Mike's story in the video earlier of his incredible journey. I'd like to share a little personal story about Mike. At Rise Up, we get to do reviews over the 18 months. We do several of them to give the guys hope, encouragement of where they're at in the program. It was around month 2 that we were doing a review with Mike, and he became very emotional, and he said, it's at this point in my life where everything would always go wrong, and he would go back to prison. And, this really touched me during this review, and it underscores the profound significance that the work that we do here at Rise Up Industries and your support, how vital it is to these guys in our program. Each one of them walking through this 18 months and the amount of support that it takes. So with that, without further ado, I would like to introduce Mike up to the stage. Mike's a July 2023 graduate of RUI CNC training program. He's a current San Diego State Aztec and soon to be program manager of RUI's prevention program. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Michael Cero to the stage.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Dustin. Dustin's a real special person to me. I'll tell you that right now. But everybody at Rise Up is. And not just at Rise Up in the physical entity of where we are with our staff, but this family that's here tonight. I want to thank you all. I want to thank each one of you for the work that you've done thus far. I want to thank you for the planning that has contributed to my life before I even knew this place existed, because it's coming to fruition for people. And I'm very thankful for that. There's some new people here tonight. I welcome you. I welcome all the people that are here for a very focused purpose, and that is to recognize 10 years and to contribute to a cause of a very focused purpose, which I talked about, and that's offering hope, opportunity, love, support, a sense of belonging, which was spoken of earlier, and a sense of sustainability for people. People that can be free individuals. And ultimately, I believe what you guys are offering here, and that I'm committed to myself also, is generational change. Tonight, we celebrate 10 years of success and accomplishment at Rise Up Industries, and the many, many stories of success and continued success of the members in the community today. This work didn't happen overnight. 10 years, that's a decade. You know, we think of all the stuff that happened in this past year, right? Think about all the stuff that's happened in this past decade. We've gone through COVID. We were still in a war at one time. A lot of things happened. You know, we've lost people. People were born. My grandson wasn't even alive 10 years ago, but I'm grateful he is today. And at the same time, the place that contributes to people's lives like myself, we didn't get to where we were overnight either. A lot of times, Ken talked about that ACEs test, and when I took that test, it really opened my eyes of how those foundational years of my life were devastated by the tragedies that I've seen, by the inconsistencies in my life, the abuse, the trauma that was incurred during that time. I never realized that those things could actually change the trajectory of everything in my life, from how long I would live, to how much I would make, to how I would feel about myself, to how I'd interact with everybody I knew. That was hard stuff. So the change doesn't come overnight. I know that when I went through those things from a young age, it's not that I didn't want to do good. You just don't always know how. You know, I was fortunate to graduate from the program back in July, just a few months ago. I graduated on my 45th birthday, as you all seen. I've been doing this, thank you. But with that, I want to say I've been doing this a long time. Since I was 10 years old, I've never been free from incarceration for longer than 1 year of my life. Some form of supervision, placement, juvenile camp, California Youth Authority, and every level of the prison system there is. There's nowhere in San Diego you could think of where I have not been in. County Mental Health, Alvarado Parkway Institute, everywhere. Mesa Vista. I mean, I can go on and on and on. Group homes and places that don't exist. Rancho del Campo, Kearney Mesa, everywhere. That's where I grew up. That's how I was impacted. It was very sad. So with that, I wanted to do good. I wanted to change in all those efforts, right? But I didn't know how. I was also seeking out family during that time. A lot of people that join gangs, they don't join gangs because they're like, hey, I want to grow up and be a criminal. No, there's something lacking in their home. And then they look to those around them that maybe have things lacking themselves, and then they join a gang. You know, there's dysfunction at home, and you find another family with more dysfunction, you don't understand what's going on. So that's what happened to me. And I got set on a trajectory where, guess what, things were all bad. You know, so I'd get out, I try to do good, I fall back to my own ways, I get caught back in the system. Here we go, I put my poor mother through it over and over and over, and it was just really unfortunate. This last time I was in prison, I was there for a 17-year sentence. I did a little over 15 years, and I started realizing the last 10 years, guess what? I'm either gonna die or I'm gonna end up in prison the rest of my life. Why? Because everybody from my neighborhood, everybody from the gang I was part of, that's what's happening to them. And it's a reality today, it's very sad. So I started working on myself, and I didn't know how. I didn't understand what the formula was, because every man I talked in there, every book that I read, everybody had a little slightly different formula. Because everybody's trauma is a little different. So how you get from point A to point B for everybody is a little different. So I had to find mine. I had to keep experimenting with different things. I had to get on my knees and pray. I had to realize that, hey, it's okay to hurt. It's okay to reach out to people around you and admit that you're not right, you've made mistakes. And I had to do those things. But the interesting thing, it's gonna be 10 years here soon since I drank. And that's where it all started. I remember I got on my knees, and unfortunately I hurt somebody, and 10 years ago, I got on my knees and said, Lord, I don't know where you're sending me, but I need some help. So that started the process. Little did I know that 10 years ago, Rise Up was started by Joe and Ross and many of these people. They had a burden that was put in their heart to reach out to people like me. I was far away in prison. I had no clue that Rise Up existed. A few years down the way, I was working on myself. You know, slowly I started getting clean and sober from drugs. I started stepping away from the gang culture. I started realizing that a lot of things that happened to me when I was young damaged the process on how I just processed basic information. And I had to really start restructuring my thinking. The reentry program started in 2016. Right around that time, I was doing good enough to where I could walk up to my counselor and say, hey, I want to go close to home. I want to go to Donovan. God kept putting this burden on my heart. I had a good cellie. I was in a good place that I liked. I was not getting in trouble or anything. But God kept telling me, try to go to Donovan. And I did. I didn't know the reentry program started then. You know, there's a lot of stories like that for people like me that are in the prison system right now that are trying to get away from gangs and that subculture that they were part of, and they're trying to get to a place of belonging. Rise Up didn't exist at one point. I could have never turned to it at that point. It wasn't a reality. But God put it in some people's hearts to make it a reality, and I thank you for that. As we move forward, we change our lives. We come through the program. We experience all the things that they give us, all the different resources. You know, everything from treatment from PTSD, early childhood trauma, things that we go over, relapse prevention, recovery groups, budgeting, mentoring. A lot of things happen over 18 months. And one of the interesting things is you can offer somebody a job, you can offer them job skills, and that's amazing. To be able to give somebody the ability to be self-sustaining in a community and be a contributor is huge. But I want to tell you there's something else that Rise Up that stands out that I think is very important. When I was there was 12 staff. And for 18 months, 12 staff every day woke up, faced life just like everybody else, had their own challenges, had their own successes, had their own family structure, and showed me how to live. Shared with me how they do life. And I got to see in a condensed form of 18 months how other people function in society, just like every single one of you do. And that's huge, because how do you re-encapsulate somebody's childhood? You know, you can't really do that. Funny thing is, you do the numbers, 12 times 18. You add that up, divided by 12. That's 18 years that's replicated in those 18 months of what a kid's childhood would be, with safe, healthy skills from parents. Now, we know 18 months isn't the whole 18 years, but all of a sudden you get to see from many different people how success is. Now, as I went through this program, one of the things that really, really stood out to me is the idea that most men have a desire to give back to their communities. They can't change what happened to them, but they can deliver a message to younger people who are experiencing the same things. And as Rise Up approached me and shared about some of their desires to move into a new venture of youth prevention, that really sparked my interest. You know, there's a lot of planning going into the Rise Up Leadership Academy at this time. And to think that we may be on another end of the spectrum where we could preventatively stop kids from ever having to go through what the men have gone through at Rise Up is huge. And thank you for that, because I know there's people committed to making that happen. That idea that I'm going to be part of that and that I can contribute and made me magnify the story and ability of what I went through and help somebody traverse those trials in their lives and not get there, that's huge. And I know it's going to take a lot of work, but, you know, people stood up 10 years ago and said, we knew this was going to take a lot of work, and I thank you guys for doing so. I love you guys. You guys are part of my extended family. For those who are here for the first time, welcome. Because I have a feeling you might be staying on for a while, and I invite you to that. I invite you guys to understand and to commit knowing that, hey, a lot of us here in San Diego realize there's things that we see on the news, there's things in our communities that we don't always understand, but there's people around us who are committed to finding change, not always through established systems, not always through committees that exist, but through friends being moved in their hearts, sitting in each other's living room saying, hey, we need to impact this type of community. And 10 years later, here we are. You know, so for those people that sat in those rooms, for those people that did that work for those 10 years, before you even knew somebody like me, by identity, was struggling in prison to get here, I thank you. And we're doing that work for people that are struggling to get out now. And we're doing that work for little boys and little girls that are putting their heads on the pillows at night saying, you know what, I don't know what junior high is going to bring. I don't know what high school is going to bring. I don't know if those guys in the corner are going to hurt me someday. But guess what? We're going to show up and we're going to step in. And this family is going to be part of that. And I thank all of you. I love you guys for that. I ask you guys to enjoy this evening and just enjoy the stories tonight that you hear and this fun time and this dinner. And I really appreciate the efforts of everybody that's been part of Rise Up so far. Thank you.
Another powerful message. So you've heard it tonight. Rise Up Industries started with one. Everybody know what a CNC is now? Computer numeric control machine, and capacity for 2 program members. Now Rise Up has 6 machines, and those are pretty big machines too. I don't think you can buy them off the rack anywhere. You can't go to Home Depot and get one. And a capacity for 12 program members. Now, listen to this stat. Machine shop gross revenue from 2022 broke $500,000, but since then, its inception, they've grossed $1.8 million, which is important when we talk about raising paddles, because you're not the only, there's earned revenue going on with this program. It's not all about the giving that's going on here tonight. Total 76 customers to date. Those are the members who gave the shop contract work. The reentry program graduates receive an apprenticeship certificate in advanced manufacturing from the Department of Labor. And one of the special guests we have here tonight for the first time, Dr. Tina King from Continuing Education, she was talking about how she wants to get together with Rise Up and figure out how they can get college degrees through Community College District as well. That's because of tonight. 100% of graduates have been employed immediately upon graduation. Employer partners range from Solar Turbines to APN Global, startup medical device industry, S&S Carbide, additional shop that hire grads. Some of you are in the room right now. If you're in the room, let's see where you're at right now because you supported them. Give them a hand because they're doing work with Rise Up. And now Rise Up wants to expand. The County of San Diego's 2023 Alternatives to Incarceration report recommended further researching and potentially expanding Rise Up's reentry program. And that's why it's so important, Summer, that you're here to validate that and let us know how important this is. You said they're the best. If she says they're the best, don't we believe her? Yes, we do. So thank you, Summer. November 22, purchased a facility in Valencia Park to double enrollment capacity from 12 to 24 members and increasing the machines from 6 to 14. 14 machines. Pursuing certification so that we can do aerospace work and other high-end advanced manufacturing work. All funds raised tonight will support Rise Up's $3.7 million renovation campaign. We aim to move in early 2024 and begin adding machines to the shop and expanding enrollment. Of that $3.7 million, $1.5 million, or 42%, has already been raised. So they haven't been sitting on their hands. They've already been out raising the money, which is a good thing. Thanks in a large part to $1.2 million from the City of San Diego's Community Development Block Grant, alongside other private foundation donors. So that means there's $2.2 million that remains to be raised to complete the renovation campaign. Naming opportunities are available. So right now we're going to do the raise the paddle part, and I know that, does everybody have their paddles? Everybody know how that works? Put your hands on your paddle. Everybody just put your hands on your paddle. Come on, touch it. You can touch it now, come on. And put it up in the air, like, so you know how to do this, right? Okay, good. All right, so right now we're going to start the raise the paddle right now at $2.2 million. Because they said that's what they needed to complete the capital campaign. Hey, if you don't ask, you're not going to receive, right? Okay, so, but here's the, and I'm looking, let the record, there's no numbers that have gone up yet, 2.2 million or any part of that. But here's the deal. If you can't give $2.2 million or any part of that $2.2 million, do you know somebody that could? And maybe as a result of you being here tonight, you can go to somebody and say, I know about this great organization who needs some financial support to complete their capital campaign. That's how it works, right? So it's usually friends and no friends that can help make that happen. So before I leave that, I'm going to ask one more time. Anybody want to raise the paddle at $2.2 million? How about $1 million? Anybody want to give $1 million? Okay, if not, here we go. We're going to start the level at $25,000. All right, $25,000. And right now, we have an anonymous donor who's actually in the room. And do I see Joseph at 491? He's representing the anonymous donor. And I want to thank the anonymous donor who's done this year in, year out. So we've got $25,000 to start with. Does anyone else want to come in at $25,000? I'm looking around the room. $25,000. See, no. Okay, he grabbed his napkin. I thought you grabbed I thought you were going to put your paddle up. $25,000. Okay, thank you to the anonymous donor and Joseph for raising the number for him. Let's give him one more big hand. Now here's the big one. Next, we're going to drop down to $10,000. And as you can see in front of me right now, this is the 10th anniversary. The 10th anniversary of Rise Up Industries. And there's nothing I'd love to see more tonight for us to get $10,000 donors, all right? So can I get anybody at 10,000? We've got 480, is that 485? 485 in the back, okay, 485 is one. We've got one, we got 9 to go. Can I get 9 more? We got 492 up front. 492, there's 2. We got 3, 448, that's 3. Can we get 4? We got 3. Can we get 4 right now at $10,000? Can we get 4? I'm looking for numbers. If we can't, we've got 3. And I'd also like to acknowledge 2 right now. In addition to what the 10,000, one of the gifts that have been put in has been by the, let's see, I have it right here. But anyway, we've got $10,000 raised by one was Wendy Davis, case manager on behalf of Tim and Mary Meisner. So where is that one at again? So we've got 3, we've got $30,000, $10,000. Anyone else? If not, clap it up for our $10,000 donors. Now let me also add too what's just happened right now is we have a $30,000 dollar-for-dollar matching grant from the Parker Foundation. And guess what? We've just matched that. Yes. How cool is that? And we also had another $1,000 raised towards that. We needed to get it done by October 31st, but we're done. We've matched that right now. But this is also on top of Parker's also given $50,000 towards the renovation campaign. Total gift of $80,000 from the Parker Foundation. And for those of you who may have known Judy McDonald, the late Judy McDonald, our beloved Judy McDonald, was a member of my Rotary Club, a great friend. We want to, in her honor, just acknowledge and recognize the Parker Foundation for their gift in doing this right now. And that's it. So we got 3 $10,000 and a match. Next up is going to be $5,000. How about 5? Can we get $5,000? No? Okay, we got one. 477. 477. 383, 477, 383, 364, 351. We're at 5,000. At 5,000, that looks like 4 so far. We've got 513 up front. All right, 513. Anyone else at $5,000? I can't see. Okay, that's 517 in the bright lights. Thank you at $5,000. Anyone else at $5,000? If not, let's give all of them a big hand. Our next level is $2,500. $2,500. Do we have anybody at $2,500? We've got 520, 315, 370, 322. We're at $2,500 right now. 393. Let's clap it up for these. Can we get any more at 2,500? 2,500? Great job. Let's give all of them a big hand. Now, I know this is where everybody can come in right now. $1,000. Who wants to give $1,000? We got 472, 326, 363, 404, 381, 339, 334, 341, 335, 505, 496, 344, 494, 474, 490 on this side, 416, 360, 450. Now we're coming this way. 543, 357, is that it? 389. That's a lot of $1,000 gifts, isn't it? Anyone else at $1,000? Anyone else at $1,000? If not, put your hands together for those $1,000 donors. Mama. All right. We can't let you go yet. We got that $500 opportunity. Who wants to come in at $500? 512, 303, 324, 446, 470, 442, 436, 438, 435, 434, 403, 354, 379, 467, 362, 375, 366, 385, 321, 502, 497, 500, 474, 498, 350, 346, 348, 347, 525, 346, 382, coming this way, 356. Anyone else? 466. That's $500 going once, going twice. Put your hands together for all those $500 gifts. I hope somebody's writing this down or recording it. But let's give a hand to our spotters right now. There are spotters here who are doing all this right now. We appreciate them. Okay, the final level number 7 is $100. $100. Just imagine if everybody here gave $100. I'd be calling out a whole lot of numbers, wouldn't I? Yes, I would. But let me tell you what we're going to do right now for $100. Put your signs up. Put your paddle up. You want to give 100? Nobody? Okay. 429, 431, 421, 493, 482, 409, 453, 342, 345, 491, 352, 437, 425, 534, 355, 527, 368, 480, 511. Is that it at $100? It all counts, doesn't it? And that all adds up. Put your hands together for our $100 donors. We got one more. 453. 453, add him to the $100 list. We appreciate all of you right now. I don't know how much we raised, but it sounded like a lot, didn't it? And it's all for a great cause, and it's all going towards helping rise up in terms of what they're doing. So before I introduce Joe Gilbreth, I just want to add to, I've gotten to know Joe over the years, and so when they talk about that kitchen table conversation that was at his home about wanting to start this whole thing going, I was at that table with Joe and Ross and some other folks, and I was at the Y at the time, and they're talking about, well, how do we start a nonprofit? And I said, it's a lot of work has to be done. And every time Joe and I talk about it, he said, you weren't lying. There is a lot that goes into it. But it happened. It happened. And I can't begin to tell you how many people come and want to do things like this, and it never gets to this level of success. But there's something else about Joe, and it's something why I always enjoy being a part of this event, is because we had the bishop pray before the meeting, you know, and Joe is a spiritually grounded person. He and I both attend St. Therese Church. in Del Cerro. And Joe came at, Joe's pretty, he's pretty assertive when he wants to have you do something. And he tried to get me to sign up to participate in this thing called Cursillo. Who's ever been to a Cursillo? Yeah. If you're a Carista, please stand and be acknowledged, because I want you to see the faith community that's here in support of Rise Up Industries. That's right. That's right. And so I think what we're looking at right now is this is an act of God. You know, when you look at it, I mean, this is a ministry to Joe. And that's what this is all about. And that's why I believe in this success. So I appreciate all that they do and the work they do. And also, too, we've heard a lot about hope. And Joe, if you come forward, I'd like to present something to you, if I can, before I turn it over to you. Is that I'm also a member, you heard earlier, I'm the president of San Diego Rotary Club. So I'm 113th president of the 10th largest Rotary Club in the world with 429 members. And it's a big deal, believe me. But the theme this year for Rotary International is Create Hope in the World. And that's the theme from our Rotary International President, Gordon McAnally. If you're a Rotarian, you're in the room, please stand, because I know we've got a bunch of them here as well, especially the folks from Downtown Breakfast Club. And so a lot of support here. But what I'd like to do, Joe, on behalf of the Rotary, San Diego Rotary, and the Rotarians in the room right now, and all the people that believe in what you're doing in terms of creating hope in the world, you're doing that every day through Rise Up Industry. I love you and appreciate you, and thank you for spending your heaven doing good on earth. God bless. Nothing good.
Ross, you want to come forward? I wanted Ross to come up with me because Ross and I did prison time together. That was Kairos prison ministry, and that's what got us started on this. Ross is one of our co-founders, and you know, one of the things we learned through Kairos prison ministry was that many of the inmates did not start life on a level playing field. Many times we'd say, you know, if I grew up in that guy's home, in his neighborhood, I'd be his cellmate today. And so that was our motivation for starting Rise Up Industries. And I wanted to bring Ross up here because we wanted to thank everybody for participating tonight. I wanted to thank all the speakers who gave such a wonderful presentation to really enlighten us about the issue that we're trying to address here. And I think their talks were very meaningful for us. I'd also like to thank Michael Brunker. What a fantastic job he has always done for us for his MC. I'd also like to recognize our development director, Nicole, who put in so much time putting this. And I'd like to ask Jackie Bendix and Rebecca Sheehan to come forward, please. Rebecca and Jackie were the co-chairs for our event planning committee, and they're responsible for putting on such a fantastic event for us tonight. Once again, I would like to thank everybody for attending tonight, spending time with us, and for your generous support. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all for choosing to spend your Saturday evening with us. We are greatly honored, and thank you so much for your generosity. It means the world to us, and we hope tonight that you've been inspired by the stories that you've heard and by Rise Up's mission. Our first 10 years have been an incredible journey, and we're just getting started. As you've heard, we have a new building that we'll be moving into, where we'll be able to double our enrollment. We're going to be starting a youth prevention program, and stay tuned for information on how you can be a mentor, and we're going to be creating a women's auxiliary. So there's going to be a way for everybody in this room to touch more people's lives. None of this would be possible if it weren't for one person. And Michael Brunker told me a couple weeks ago, Los Angeles has Father Greg, but San Diego has Joe Gilbreth. Joe's dedication, his compassion, and his leadership. When I say leadership, I mean leadership emotionally, physically, mentally, financially, spiritually, are why we're here. And tonight we honor him for his dedicated service and the numerous lives he has helped to change over these last 10 years. So Joe, tonight, a few of your members have something special to honor you with.
All righty, so today's September 23rd, and it's the first day of autumn, which means fall is around the corner. Along with the beautiful changes in the season comes a busier pace for all of us as we get into the holidays. But tonight, we want you to take a little bit of us home with you. So, on your way out, you will receive a package. In it, we'll have our 10-year anniversary coffee mug for Rise Up coffee, a keychain made and crafted by our members, which is an anniversary keychain, and a book, Rewriting the Ink, written by 4 of our members, as you had heard earlier. And as a special treat, we have the editor, Leslie Willis, as well as 2 of the authors to sign anybody's book that would like to be signed tonight. And that will be on your way out. To the right is where the signing table will be. And on your way out, remember to pick up your silent auction items, which will be to the left as you exit. Thank you for attending the 2023 Big Night Out. And remember, together we rise.